and ASI, the makers of IMUS, Advanced Solutions International, it was awarded as an Innovation of the Year a few years ago. And since then, we just continue to make enhancements and bug fixes and all kinds of things. Typically, we do major releases every 3 months, and we do periodic patches every 2 weeks if there's something that's urgent or needs to get out. Just as an example, the June release should be announced today. Maybe it's going to be tomorrow. It depends on what we try to get wrapped up today. But with that, I believe there's probably about 60 new features that were added in this last 3-month time frame. I'm going to go through the home page and some of the individual components and show you how this works. Currently, I happen to be logged in to this database, and so I can see I already have 2 items in my cart. But you can go in without logging into IMUS, without logging with username and password, add books to your carts, add coupon codes. There's a couple things you do have to log in for. One would be to join or renew, because we need to know if you're eligible to join or renew and who you are, as well as registering for an event. You can absolutely look at the event, look at all the features, look at all the prices, but to actually register, we need to have you logged in to make sure you're not already registered, things like that. So I'm going to go through the components of the home page. Pretty much everything here can be modified. Now the wrapper, we'll call what's around the outside, is really designed to your website. This happens to be a sample website called the Excel Association. But if we look at a few other clients like the Irrigation Association, you'll notice they don't have a sliding banner on the page. You can turn pretty much everything on and off. But there's an example, their design. Here's a sorority that's using this, where a little fancier wrapper around it, where they're selling shirts and coffee cups and mugs and whatnot. Another association, this association is using .NET Nuke. I think the Irrigation may be using Kentico. Colorado CPAs, they are using IMUS Rise for their content management system. And you'll see it just folds in exactly. So if in Rise they go and add a new menu item, that new menu item will automatically be added to the menu item will be automatically added to the store. A couple other clients, there's another client that's using Rise, etc. So really the design is whatever you have. We have a technology we call screen scraping that will real-time merge that together, and that's how we make that work. So understand that the style sheets, the colors, the buttons, that kind of stuff is all controlled by you. These buttons can be hidden, modified, for example, store home, if you just want to call that home, or not have it at all, that's an option there. I'm going to go through the contents of this page. There's a store home here. There's a search box that searches IMUS. Now this searches IMUS for all descriptions, all titles, speaker names, authors, publishers, functions in SQL, functions, excuse me, in a function. Really, all kinds of things that are inside of IMUS will automatically be indexed and can be searched in here. As you type in something like board, you'll notice that it's like Google. It automatically pulls down a list of all the words in IMUS that include that. If I was to look for Hunt, there's a speaker called Doug Hunt. I could click on this and go find all the content in IMUS based on that person, that he's a speaker. But just as an example, I search for board, and I hit the search, I'm going to get a combined list of everything in the store regarding products, events, subscriptions, all that kind of thing that's in the store. You'll see here that this results can be sorted alphabetically, price highest to lowest, lowest to highest, first to last, etc. And this includes, it looks like a DVD here series. This is coming right out of IMUS, this DVD, and there's even a little video, and this is coming right out of IMUS to play this video.
Your communities are relying on you to be informed.
Okay. Here's a book, another book that's available, and here's a webinar that's available for immediate download. Now, in any of these items, I could go drill into the detail more, or I could simply just add to cart right here, and that'll add it to my cart. It'll give me a little notice down here that's added, and we'll see up here now I have 3 items in my cart. So that's how easy it is to quickly search. Now, we do support pagination, and you can set the maximum number of search results per page. and it will automatically paginate. That's especially good for people that have several thousand documents in their online catalog. When we go back to the home page, so that's how the search works. It's again very simple. It's like a Google, one box, put in a word, hit the button. That's very common to many people to be able to do that. Next, we've got a banner ad here. You can turn this on and off. It could be static content. It could be a video. It could be whatever you want. That's controlled by you as well. Down below here is featured items. Now, we feature both events and products. This is simply done by checking for products, checking the featured box inside IMUS and Manage Inventory. And for events, we have another little table, general lookup table using standard IMUS that you can click on to add events to be featured. Again, you can turn off this whole section. You could change this word featured items to something else if you want. It's really up to you how to do that. Down here below under highlights, we have 3 tabs possible. Right now, what are the newest items that have been put in the store? What are the best sellers, meaning what's selling? Now, this is automatically recalculated at an interval you specify, perhaps daily, because maybe the best sellers don't change that much. But even to give you an example of the flexibility here, if you really didn't want Aladdin or the Wonderful Lamp to be featured anymore, or be a bestseller, we have a bestseller stop list, meaning a list that even though it is a bestseller, we really don't want to promote it and show it. So there's even ways to overcome that. And then specials is just a way to say, here's some highlighted text. You can style this text. Some people make it red. Some people make it different colors. In fact, I think if I jump over to AAPG here, they have under their specials, put some different colors and styles to really give emphasis for that kind of thing. I mean, since I'm on their page, I'll continue to go. You've got the mini card over on the right side that shows you what's in your card at any time. Another section here for specials, which you can turn on or off, and it just scrolls by to give some life to your web page there. There are 3 possible boxes that you can, again, change the words. In this case, this client's changed it to subscribe/donate, where they put their join and renew and maybe buy a journal or make a donation. The education events, that'll go to all your different calendars. We'll get into the calendars in a minute about all the different kind of calendars you can have. Then product categories. Now, there's a couple ways to do product categories. If you're using the new features in IMUS 15 for the web categories in the system setup, you can actually put a book or a product in multiple categories at the same time. So you could have books and journals, something in books and journals, and in training. And then when you click on something like that, it just does a search of their site for everything with the category of video training on DVDs. So there's the search results on that client. Let me go back to the page I was demoing on our site. The last thing at the bottom, and you'll know this one is not using those web categories. It's using the standard old product categories that have been around since IMUS 10. You could make up your own category, like just Harry Potter books. Even though that's not a category in IMUS, you can create a link that will automatically go search for all books related to Harry Potter and put that in your menuing system. Then down below is a section on keywords. Keywords are again, all the words, the tag cloud of all the words that are in all the descriptions and speaker names and such. You can set these up so that when you click on these, it'll go do a search, and you can even put stop words. If, for example, you don't want the word color to be a word in here, you can remove that so that some other words will come up with relevance. You'll see here on this client, booth, or on this demo, booth and guide are the words in the tag cloud. I think when we were looking at AAPG there a second, in their tag cloud, geological, geology, society. If we look at Irrigation Association, their words seem to be exam and irrigation. So there's a lot of exams that you can buy and download and whatnot. So that's kind of the contents of the homepage. One more option I'll show you up here. There's a section called View Previous Orders, and that is because I'm logged in. Now, when I'm logged in, I can click on the View Previous Orders, and I can see and print any receipt, whether it was done through the web or the back office, the phone. I can print and reprint any receipt in the system. You'll notice here that it looks like I had a registration for a conference. I can reprint the confirmation letter. I can reprint the receipt. I could email the receipt to somebody else and put in their email address and have it sent to them. All kinds of cool features in there, print and then the email one. For electronic content, you'll notice that these things I have bought, I no longer have access to. Now, what that means is you can specify how long people have access to electronic content. That might be a video, that might be a PDF file, that might be a webinar at an LMS company. Now, we currently do integrate with 15 different LMS companies. Those would include things like Blue Sky, Digital Ignite, Digitech, Omnovia, CE City, GoToWebinar, a number of different webinar companies, so that you just set up your webinar in IMAS as a product, and of course that it can be searched for. When people check out, it'll automatically register the person as a third party, no human intervention necessary, and then many of those, not all of them, but many of them are set up so that once the person completes their course on the third-party site, it will automatically update IMAS with the credit hours and how, maybe a test score, how many credit hours they earned. So lots of good things here, but you'll see the access to this content is expired, so even though I can reprint my receipt, I can't go watch this video anymore or download this. Now, the default values, you can set whatever you want. You can set them for different kinds of content. We have one client that allows people to download it for 1 day, and after a day, they have to go back and rebuy it. Or you could make it unlimited as well. Again, with those LMSs and those webinar companies, we do provide single sign-on, full integration. This is something that can be put in a confirmation letter or email address, email receipt as well, where people could, well, in the middle of the night, could buy a webinar, watch the webinar if it's an on-demand, take the test, have it right back to IMAS, and be all done before you even come in the morning. So that's some of the flexibility of that. I'm going to go back to the store home here, and I'm going to pause for a moment. That's pretty much everything that's on the home page. I'm going to get into the individual sections in a moment, but I just want to know if there's any questions, and if so, please make sure you type your question in, or you can also raise your hand in GoToWebinar, and I can unmute your phone, and you can ask any question you want. So just wondering, are there any questions at this time? I'll give you a second to raise your hand if there is. Okay, well, we're going to move on. I didn't see any questions come up. We're going to talk about products and adding products to your cart. Now, I'm going to pull up IMAS here. This happens to be an IMAS 15 database, but again, this works on all versions of IMAS. Just for those of you that may not be familiar with IMAS, with this part of the module, underneath orders, if you have advanced order entry, underneath orders, you can go in and manage your inventory. And when you manage your inventory, for example, if I go look at book 1, that's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, book 1. We've got 4 different description fields. We've got pricing. We do support special pricing. We also have inside the store something called stored procedure pricing for products. So you can, for example, say all students get 10% off these books, or first new members who are new within 30 days get 10% off a webinar, things like that. So you can make your own stored procedure pricing for products. You can also do that for events as well. So here is all the descriptions that are in IMAS. When we go to look at the upsell, cross-sell, we'll see that this is already set up in IMAS, that if you were cross-selling to book 2, book 3, and to this almanac that's available. You'll also see inside the publication tab, here's where we have the author, the publisher, the data publishing, again using standard IMAS for this, as well as for the web, the link to the images, a link to a thumbnail, and you can even put a link to more product info. For example, maybe you want to have the first minute of a video, or you want to have the first page of a PDF file, chapter, something like that. You can put a link in here that will produce a link on the online marketplace to see that. Also, things that are stock or non-stock items, that's controlled by you. If it's a stock item, it will check inventory to make sure there's enough inventory for people to buy those. You'll see this entity feature in IMAS if you're using multiple entities in IMAS. For example, you have a foundation and a general entity. You can have the cart automatically split up by entity. So some people are doing this where one cart with one check out of a credit card will actually charge their credit card twice, a different amount, split the total cart into different amounts and go to different cash accounts and different bank accounts. So maybe you buy a book and you give a $5 donation, a $20 book and a $5 donation. The person, if you want to set this up this way, would see a $20 charge that would go to one bank account and a $5 charge for the foundation, and then all the money is all handled correctly at IMUS. So that's an example where we extend this and go a little bit further than standard IMUS by letting you split up your cart by entity if you want to do that. In addition, for the warehouse, you can specify which warehouses to pull inventory from. You might have 10 warehouses in IMUS, and some people do have that, where they have multiple warehouses, but the store, they only want to serve out of 1 or 2 different warehouses. And you can specify that in the setup options to say, I'm only going to pull from the Denver warehouse and the Seattle warehouse and not from the Dallas warehouse. Okay, so that's a little bit, just a quick briefing on that and how that is set up inside special pricing stuff set up inside IMUS if you had never seen that. Let me go back and go to pull up this product. Excuse me. And I'm going to go pull up and see if the Harry Potter, I'm just going to search for book 1 because we knew it was book 1. Or I could have searched for Potter. I'm going to search for book 1. And it's going to pull up that product code. So you can put a product code. Now we do have an option. You'll see right here. I can add it to the cart, or I can go to the details. I'm going to go into the details on this one. Now we do have a feature of the store where you can have a one-click add to cart. That means maybe on your home page you want to promote a book, and you can just have a link where somebody can click that link, and it'll immediately add it to the cart and drop them right in the cart to finish their checkout. So that's a new feature that we have in the June version of the online marketplace. But you'll see here on the product we can zoom in and take a closer look on this. You can decide which things you want to show on the page. Do you want to show author, publisher, date, ISBN number? You can change these labels to other things if you don't want to. If you want to show pages, but you want to change it to pages/minutes, things like that, all under control of your control. There are QR codes here where we can pop up a QR code that would bring somebody directly right back to this page. Social networking features like email a friend, Facebook like, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Groups, and a whole host of others. Again, even on this, you can control which ones you want to show, which ones you want to hide, what order you want them in, all under your control through your setup inside of IMUS. Under this one, you'll see under Harry Potter book, you'll see that there's some product reviews. Now, I can review this book, and if I review this book and say, great novel, this kept me very interested throughout. We hit post here. That's going to save it to my IMUS record. I can now go into IMUS. I can do an IQA report on that, but you'll see I've rated it as 5 stars. I can look at other people's ratings and give them a thumbs up and thumbs down. I could look at all the reviews if I wanted to and see what people reviewed it and what people said. And that, again, is all stored inside of IMUS, so it's very easy to do IQA queries and other kind of reporting on it. Down here, remember we had in the store, I showed you the upsell, the cross-sell. So it looks like this item is cross-sold to those 2 items. Now, no need to fear. Remember, there were 3 items when we set it up inside of IMUS here, when we set up the cross-sell, upsell IMUS. There was 3 items, but the AIM Almanac is no longer for sale. So it's not like it's going to blow up. It just won't show it because that item is not for sale anymore. You'll see that people who bought this book also bought these things. And that's really part of that viral social purchasing history, where we can say, hey, everybody that bought this book bought that. You can control how frequently this gets updated. Again, probably every day is adequate. It is a pretty big process, meaning it can take about, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds to do all this calculation. So that's why we don't do it real time. But the people who bought this bought that doesn't change that often. We do provide a facility for you to set that up to run in the background if you want. So again, I've got this. I could add this to my cart right here if I wanted to. We give people many ways to check out. Their view the cart to check out. We've got a checkout up here. Lots of ways to check out. Or I could just click on another product and buy another product in here. A couple of things I want to show you to give you an example. We do support IMUS 15 master products. And that is a pretty powerful thing. Now, I went and looked on apparel here Couple things on this. This is another feature we have that maybe something's on back order. We can put in an email address in here and then say notify me. And what that does is it records an IMUS that Randy Richter, or rrichter@ATSL.org, is interested in knowing when this association hat becomes available online. So with that, there's a report that you can run that lets you know who's interested in getting a copy of that. Now, you might get 5 in an inventory, and you might update inventory, and you don't want it to. You got those pegged for board members of this hat. So you control how you want to push out to the people the notification. But if we go look at something here, you notice I can't just add the card here on this, on like this logo shirt. I just can't add it to the card. The reason I can't add it to the card is I've got to make some choices. Now, inside of IMUS, in the system setup in IMUS, you can set up attributes on products. Now, in this case, for example, we've got attributes of size, we've got color, we've got sleeve size. Now, this could also be, and we see clients using this for English versus Spanish versus French, for hard copy versus PDF versus online, things like that. But I could click and say, well, I want extra large. Now, you notice the white and the red blanked out because there is no inventory of extra large in those. And I could say extra large blue. I could say extra large blue long sleeve. Now, the picture comes up for that. I add that to my cart, and now that particular shirt is now in my shopping cart. So you can set up these attributes however you want. You could even style these that maybe you want this, instead of the word blue to be blue, maybe it's a blue box with the color of the shirt. So you have full control over that through CSS, and we can definitely show you how to do that and manage that. You'll notice down here, there are no upsell and cross-sell on that, but people who bought that also bought the Harry Potter book, bought this PR book for contractors. Again, we try to support that viral purchasing where I can see what other people have done, and I can go and purchase that, purchase these items as well. Okay. A couple other things we'll talk about here. That would be things like e-books, Moby books, Kindle books. If you go do this demo on your website, you can go ahead and or do this demo on, say, your iPad and come to our website. You could actually go ahead and buy one of these e-books. They're free. The checkout doesn't really check anything out. When you go to, it says download this at the end. Remember, it said click here to download. When you click on that, it'll pull it right into your Kindle, right into your iPad, put it right in the bookshelf, and you start flipping through pages. That can really help avoid the cost of some of these other vendors that charge you a surcharge for delivering e-books and Kindle books and whatnot through there. One more thing I want to talk about with PDF files. We do have some great features with PDF files. If you want to sell a PDF and deliver a PDF file through here, you can turn on the feature to automatically watermark the PDF on the pages and display the person who bought it, the date they bought it, and a copyright statement. They'll be watermarked in the bottom left-hand corner, but it'll be there on every page, so you can copyright it and watermark it to the person that purchased it. In addition, you can set up some settings like they can't print it, they can't copy and paste out of the PDF. That's, again, all part of the orders module that's set up inside of the ATS Online Marketplace. I'm going to go ahead and check out here real quick. I'll open up to questions. Now, remember, I put a lot of things in my cart. I put a DVD series and whatnot. Let's go ahead and I'm going to hit the edit. Excuse me. I don't have a zip code on my record here. I'm going to go ahead and put in a zip code. Couple things, on this is that you could, if you're buying books and whatnot, you could put all this stuff in your cart without checking out. Now, I happen to be logged in. If I was to leave now and come back a week later, this stuff would still be in my cart. And I'll show you how you can manage carts here in a little bit. I can change my quantities, and at this point, I'm just going to buy the Harry Potter book. I'm just going to buy the Harry Potter book. I'm going to go ahead and update my quantities here. Now, if I had bought membership at the same time, then this, I believe I'm logged in as a non-member. So if I had bought membership at the same time, it would automatically show the membership price. When I would add membership reduced to my cart, it would change the prices automatically for all the events, all the books, everything to member price. If I get to this point and delete the dues out of my cart, then no fear, it will auto-recalculate and charge them the regular member price. Coupon codes. We have coupon codes that are based on dollars off, percentage off. In fact, let me show you the coupon code setup real quick here. Give me just a second to switch screens, and I will show you the coupon setup. Inside of IMUS, I'm going to pull this window back over for everybody to see. Quite get it moved over there. Okay. Before I jump to coupons real quick, remember I talked about those product reviews? There's a user-defined tab, user-defined table in IMUS where those product reviews are in there. So we can see that Doug Hunt gave product 42211 a rank of 5 and said, great resource. There's a description. There's the date. Again, you can do all kinds of IQA queries on this. Do a contest for those that submit. You know, get in a drawing for a free conference registration, things like that. Okay, or you could just change it, or you could delete it. If I go back to, so that's on an individual level. Now, this record happens to also be what we call our store manager record. What we're going to ask you to do is set up one record in IMUS that's known as the store manager. That record is where we're going to store some things about the store that it needs to know. For example, coupons. Now, so coupons, this is the coupon setup. If I go in here and look for the 5 off coupon, hopefully everybody can see that there. It's a little bit small, but on the coupon code, what do you want the code to be? What do you want the description to be? Is it good for orders or events or freight or handling or magazine? You know, what is it good for? Is it dollars off or percentage off? What's the value? Now, this is a little odd. This is the 5 off coupon, but somebody set it up for $7 off. Well, we're going to go ahead and change that to 5. Is it active? What's the begin date, the end date? Is it a single use per person, meaning Randy can only use this coupon once? Is it stackable? Is it restricted to member types? Maybe it's only good for members, or maybe it's only good for non-members. Different kind of coupon. Restricted to a product code. We can say it's only good for book 1. Restricted to category. It's only good on webinars or apparel. You know, one of the things I really like here is what's the maximum orders. You can set that to 50. Then you can use one of your tools like a Real Magnet or Informs and send out a broadcast email and say the first 50 people get to use this coupon 5 off, get $5 off their registration for their webinar. So you can do all that. These fields below here, I'll talk about those in a little bit as soon as I have time. Those, we actually have a bulk coupon generator where you can in bulk generate 100 coupons. Ways that some associations have done this is they'll get a corporate partner, a corporate vendor, buy coupons for 100% off membership, and then the corporate member goes out and hands those to individual members, potential members, non-members, and then those non-members come in and use that coupon to get 100% off their dues. Great marketing tool for that. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'm going to go ahead and click Save because I changed that coupon to $5. But you'll see we got lots of different kind of coupons in here for lots of different things. So now when I come back over here to the store and I'm going to say I'm going to use a coupon for 5 off, I'm going to apply that coupon, and it should come up and say 5 off. I just edited that data. I did not do what we call recycle the application pool, but it looks like it did work. $5 off your next order. So that's $5 off. You'll notice on the freight here, the freight is automatically calculated because it's a shippable item. If there was no shipping on this item, we wouldn't ask for the freight information. I do want to show you a little more robust example here. If I go over to this was one I was demoing actually yesterday, the Society for Economic Geologists. They have a lot of different freight options. And you'll see here, if I have one item in my cart, and update the quantity, I've got more freight options. As I put more items in my cart, it automatically calculates and says, well, gosh, there's not enough weight. It weighs too much to use these other methods. If I was to switch it to something like, oh, I don't know, let me go up here and say I'm going to switch to Afghanistan, now you'll notice that it changes that only international freight rates are available. So the store will automatically, based on who you are, how much your stuff weighs, what freight options are available, will automatically recalculate and display the freight options. Okay. So I get ready to check out here. I'm going to do UPS. I'm going to go ahead and check out. This is where if I was not logged in, it would require me to log in. Now another feature that we have is you can, if you want to set it up, ask for a donation at checkout. You can even put a suggested giving amount in. This one's set to $5. You can do in memory of. This does not have to be the fundraising module. You could use the voluntary dues if you want. But you can decide whether you want to give a gift or not at checkout. Okay, I'm not going to give a gift today. There's a banner ad here that can show right now that's turned off. Right now I'm logged in as guest. You'll see I've got some things that are required here. I'm going to say Randy, Richter, 123 Elm Street, Denver, Colorado, 80602. I put an email, phone number, email address. Now, one of the things we do here is you could change this, even though I'm in Denver, Colorado, and my record in IMUS is in Denver. I could actually change this to ship to, my brother in Nebraska, which, when I would do that, would recalculate the freight rate and any applicable tax rates that you have in there. Even things on the screen on here, if you want to combine freight and handling and not show it as two line items, that's a feature. If you don't want to charge, if you're not charging tax for whatever reason, and tax isn't on there. But this is a way, again, to change the shipping address to some other than what's in IMUS, because I'm going to maybe ship it to my brother for this one package. So now we get ready to enter the payment. I've got a few options on entering payment. We've got a few of them turned on here today. We've got credit card or electronic check or maybe purchase order. Now you can decide which ones you want to turn on and off. Maybe you don't allow purchase orders. Maybe you don't allow ACH and you just want to do credit card. That's really up to you. We'll do the validation. You can see here I could send the email to somebody else. I could send it to rrichter@apple.org. I could send it to my CFO if I wanted to send a copy. We'll go ahead and charge the credit card. And when I charge the credit card, it's going to create the batch in IMUS. It's going to place the order in IMUS. It's going to update an activity record that says Randy used this coupon for $5 off. Everything's done. One of the other features that we got pretty much everything turned on the store. Here's a feature that pops up a box with whatever you want to have in it. In this case, we've got a little survey that pops up. Please rate your experience. Other people have used this pop-up box for things like, do you want to sign up for the newsletter? Now, you can have a box show up based on a product, meaning that a box could only show up if somebody ordered a particular product. For example, maybe you have a name tag, and they buy it through the store, and whenever somebody puts in a name tag, you want to pop up a box that says, what name do you want on your name tag? Or they would fill that out and hit save and continue on. So you can control it, who it shows up for, and it can be based on what they bought in the cart. It could even be if they bought an annual event, even though you're sending a confirmation letter, maybe, and we've got a client that's going to roll this out, I believe, because we're implementing passkey implementation integration for hotel rooms. And so if you bought an event that is passkey enabled, pop up a box and say, to go make your hotel reservation, click here, which would automatically take them over and do their hotel. They could do their hotel because they registered for the event. But you'll see here, that's another feature you turn on or off. You'll see here that there's a receipt come up, very simple receipt. It got emailed to me. My record's updated in IMUS. In fact, if I was going to go back to this record in IMUS, which is record 200, and let's go find this record real quick, 200. And if I go to 200 and I look at orders, and the order that was placed today, I am in the wrong database for this. I apologize. I'm in the incorrect database for this. This is an order of an example that somebody put out here, a handbook for contractors. The orders are all in IMUS. The batches created. You have a lot of control over the batches. You can separate American Express from Visa MasterCard if you want. You can have different batches for checks than for credit cards. Lots of features and options when you set up your batches. I'm going to pause for a second there and ask if there's any questions. Please raise your hand or type your question into the question box. Okay. Well, I'm sure some of you may have some questions. Like I said, I'm going to unmute everybody in just a minute here. We're going to go through a couple other areas of the store in the next few minutes. I'm going to go back to the store home, and I want to talk about events. We talked about lots of different event calendars, ways that you can set up calendars. You can do, here in this case, all events, just expositions, just webinars. And you have several choices on how you want to show the things in the calendar. Looks like there's nothing available right now in this calendar. Let me go to the Colorado CPA Association just to show you how they set up their calendars. They have calendars for all events, just chapters, just the ones in Denver. When I click on this, you really have three ways, and you can control which of these you want to show. If you want to show any of these, this is an option called a schedule, and you can change the words. They call it an event schedule, where you can really easily see all the webinars and all the Denver seminars they're putting on. We could click on the calendar box and go to the traditional calendar view, where we can see the individual items on the calendar, and here that pulls up. So here's all the things in the calendar. Let's say I want to go to this next week, this auditor's fraud. Auditor's responsibility related to fraud. I can hover over it. I can see what the detail is. I could then click on the details. It's really all this data is pulled out of IMIS. So lots of different ways to do calendars. This other one is what we call an event list. This would be similar to doing a search. Remember we showed you earlier when you search, it shows all the events. So this is an event listing where I just did a search. You'll notice here, and you can control what images you want to show. It's all pulled out of IMIS here. There's even an add to calendar feature if you want. It will adjust for the time zone. So if you're a national organization, you have people multiple time zones, this will correctly add it to their Outlook calendar in the right time zone. And then we can just click on the details. Of course, sort it first to last, price types to lowest, whatnot. I could also do things like search for, I'm going to search for a simple one on this on a production site here. I'm going to search for any thing in their database that has to do with iPads. And when I click on iPads, I'm going to see, well, here's a apps to review and mark up your PDF. It's a webinar on that, or here's using your tablet as a digital notepad. Well, let's click on the details of this one. When I click on the details, we've got you've got multiple ways to display the data. This is all data that's in IMIS. These are using the IMIS meeting resources. So here's a description. Here's the instructor. Their pictures pulled out of IMIS. Their bio, if they have it's pulled out of IMIS. Their address, so the address of the thing. It looks like this client's decided to put an address in of Webinar, Colorado. I'm not sure why they would want to do that, but that's what they did here. They have maybe the cancellation and transfer policy. Under the description here, you'll see that they have what's the overview, major subjects, learning objectives, what it's designed for. They could have put these on individual tabs as they want. That is really all controlled by you. Let me show you real quick for those of you that aren't familiar with this part of IMIS. If we go into IMIS and we go into the events, under events, under setup tables, event resources, these are all the event resources. This is, major subjects, learning objectives, advanced preparation, prerequisites. So you set up your meeting resources, and then when you go into define an event inside of IMIS, and you go to something like the DMA annual here, and we go to the we're going to go to the registration, main registration. We go more, staff. You'll see here where all the fields are, prerequisites, whatnot. I could click on that, type it in, save it. Now it's saved for the meeting, and that's what drives the website. So let me go back to the ATS store. Excuse me. Well, you see here I'm not logged in. I can see all this data, but I'm not logged in. I got to log in to register, which will make sure that I'm already registered to any kind of group discounts. One of the things with Colorado CP is if they're doing using store procedure pricing for product, or for events, is that the more you put in the cart, the cheaper they are. So for them, their store procedure pricing rules are 3 events, no discount. 4, 5, or 6, you get $15 off. 7 or 8, you get $17 off. And the price is automatically adjusted as you add and remove things from your cart. So pretty cool feature there. So let me go back to the ATS Online Marketplace on our demo, and let me go to look at all events. And I'll show you. We're going to go through here and look at all events, and we're going to go ahead and look at this annual expo in, we'll look at this annual expo here. And I've got a lot of people demoing on this database, so hopefully it's something pretty reasonable here. All right, so this is data that's coming out of IMIS. You'll see in our IMIS copy, we've decided to have an information tab, an address tab, overview tab, accommodations, schedule, again, really controlled by you. QR code, you've got the add to calendar, you've got the Facebook like, and all that kind of thing. And I can register myself, or I can register somebody else. Okay. When I go to register myself, you'll see I've got some options pre-selected. I've got here some guest registrations, and maybe I just want to do a one-day registration and not a full conference. It automatically handles conflict codes. It automatically handles prerequisites. You can say, for example, that you cannot register for the afternoon session unless you register for the morning session first. We do have what we call so prerequisite function. We do have a filtering function, meaning that you could put a function out there for your board breakfast, and only board members that are logged in would see that option. Or maybe you ask the board for their arrival and departure date. Things like that you can set up where only certain people, only people certified at level 2 will see the certified level 2 classes. Lots of features. You can put required functions in here. I could just add this to my cart, but if I try to add it to my cart right now, I just want the full registration. I want quick registration. Well, you got to select that you agree with the cancellation policy and you agree with the photo agreement. Now I can just add it to my cart, and it'll add it to my cart. Now you can also have questions pop up. For example, if you register for the golf tournament, then ask the person what their handicap is. You can do that. You can say, or what do you want? Or maybe it's a function. When I said prerequisite function, if you register for the golf tournament, then and only then would you ask if they want to rent clubs. All those kind of things in here. Guest badges are handled. It'll pop up a guest box where I can put in my name badges for my guests, and maybe those are $50 a piece. You can put a limit on them. These are $10 a piece. You can put a limit on them and say maybe people can only buy 4 or 5 of them. Again, that's a standard feature inside of IMUS. So you can lock down what people can see and what they how many people they can register for, things like that. Okay. So really, it's pretty straightforward. You know, that's the registration. A lot of flexibility. It does automatically show the member, non-member price here. Again, if I have a rule set up that every third registrant from the same company is free, then when I would come to this, the prices would be 0. Maybe for the main registration, but maybe for the extra dinner ticket, it's still $30. You have lots of control over that. We have other people using this to buy like a 10 by 10 booth, a 20 by 20 booth, and then put in their booth personnel as extra guest badges. So it can do that kind of thing as well. So I want to stop there for a second. Again, raise hands, ask questions. Are there any questions on event registration? You register some. I will say one more thing while I'm asking for raising hands. On the register somebody else, you control who can register who. It might be your rule as everybody's the same company. It might be everybody that is in the same chapter or in the same hierarchy where there's a grandparent company, child company, where you can decide who can register who else in the company. That is up to you. The default setting by default is just those people in your company, but that can be overridden and changed at any time. Any questions on that? Okay. Well, the next thing that I want to jump into real quick is dues. I happen to be, while we were, so I went ahead and made myself a non-member. This record that's logged in here. We've already talked about the joining a little, but I could do a join or renew. Now, you can set up prerequisites. That students can't join unless they have a transcript on file. And then you can provide a link to go to your own page to let them upload a transcript or something outside of there. So that's one, you can do that. In this case, very simple. It's like a wizard approach. You set this up inside of IMUS. Give you a real quick peek at how we do that. And that's one of the reasons that this thing is so you know, flexible with different versions of IMUS is that we use the standard IMUS constructs. For example, under ATS dues, you can set up a record that says join, meaning that anybody that's currently in the system as a web member type can join as a member. Anybody that's in as a non-member can join as a member. Otherwise, they can't. You can specify the words. You're eligible to join. I'm sorry, you can't join. You can require them to pick how many chapters must they pick. Maybe they must pick 1. Maybe they don't have to pick any, but they can pick up to 3. So you have things like what are my minimum and my maximum numbers of chapters and subscriptions, and what do I want to show. It's all controlled in one table in IMUS, in standard IMUS, and that's where you set all that up. So for example here, I'm going to do basic membership dues. Next thing it's going to ask me for, is what county I want to join. I want to join the Travis County. And do I want to give a PAC contribution? Very simple. All through that wizard it's set up. How do you want this to go? We're going to go ahead. Those are the 3 things. I'm going to go ahead and add to cart. And now when I add it to my cart, I'm ready to check out. And if I were to check out, this would convert me to a member. and of course give you member pricing on all the products. Lots of people use this for different things, not only for joining, but I think the Irrigation Association here uses it to just renew a certification. So they have a special certification program. It's a subscription item in IMUS, and you could just buy that subscription at one line item even outside of your membership. Other people do it that maybe my membership dues are I'm going to renew, but maybe mid-year you want to allow people to go in and join a chapter or a section at a prorated rate or something like that. Of course, the online marketplace will handle that as well. Again, we're kind of looking at one unified shopping cart experience for all of this stuff. In the essence of time, because I know dues can be very complicated, but really we do support special pricing for based on tons of potatoes you sell or whatever the rule is. Really, we handle anything you can handle inside of Core IMUS for joining and renewing. I'm going to stop there for a second, see if there's any hands that need to be raised or any questions on that. Okay, the last area I want to go into here is the well, I showed you how you can set this stuff up inside of IMUS. I'm going to show you how you can set that up in a web interface. We do have a full web interface for this that you can determine who can log in and who can't log in and what they can do. I'm going to start over at the right side. Under Bridges, this is a list of some of the LMS bridges that we support. Blue Sky, CE City, some of these that I talked to you about. In here, I don't have any of those set up in this database, but this is where you can set up which products in IMUS are Blue Sky or GoToWebinar products, for example. And by doing it and setting that up, that means whenever somebody checks out, it's going to automatically tell GoToWebinar about it. And we are happy to consider adding additional webinar companies. If you have a webinar company that's not on this list, we'd definitely be interested in helping you out with that and adding that as a new one. Underneath the setup, we talked about a lot of things there. Already this is what ATS typically uses, but we can go in and verify the installation, see if there's anything wrong, see if there's anything not set up quite right, and it will do that, and it will show everything in green that's set up correctly, everything in red that needs your attention, things like that. There's the ability to go down in here into the store settings and set up all these different settings. Now, these are actually set up in IMUS in a general lookup table. However, I can come into here under store settings, and it's going to pull them up in a web interface. I'm not sure I clicked the button. I think I need to click the button here. Here we go. So under here, maybe we want to say, what are the things that affect checkout? Do I want to allow payment by purchase order? No. Click the box, hit Save Changes. Now people can't change that. What if I say, well, what do I want the default source code to be? Now, one other cool thing you can do on anything in the store, you can say on a particular page, you could direct people in Forms or Real Magnet to a particular page, and if on the URL you put promo equal summer 2014, and you put that in your email marketing, now this will track and go all the way down to the transaction level, so you can run a report to say, show me everybody that bought something with the summer 2014 promo. But that's the example. By default, it's called web, but you could change it to different things if you want. What are some of the labels? Sellers to say something else. On the product display, do you want to show, do you want to turn on PDF security? Do you want to have that as a feature or not? You can turn those kind of things off and on as well. On labels, subscriptions, even how big you want your pictures to be for your thumbnails. In the shopping cart, try to wrap up here. We have, you can see what's in everybody's cart at any time. You can see what's in carts of people that are logged in at this moment. Current user cart items. Remember, I was logged in as guest, and somebody named Kevin, somebody's testing with Kevin Martin, is logged in here and has those things in the cart, and they are still in the store. You do have the ability to kind of help clean up and manage abandoned carts, things like that. Underneath products, we typically have a set of reports and then a set of audits that kind of help you find things. So for example, what are the top 10 product sales by quantity ordered for the year, for the month, for the week, today? Looks like one purchase of book one. Same thing by dollars. Let's look at the product reviews, all kinds of nice charts and graphs inside of here to tell you what's selling, what categories are selling. Underneath audits, lots of things that we find cause problems with your IMUS setup. Maybe things are, why is it on back order? Well, there's a back order report here. Here it'll show all the items in your store, all your items in IMUS that are currently on back order. So you say, well, gosh, we better order some more of this P46 because we're 3 short and somebody has already requested on the website to be notified when it's available. So lots of tools here. Look for invalid kits. Maybe you set up a kit in IMUS and you didn't put anything in it. So those are the kind of things that will show you different kind of errors. Same thing on events. On events, lots of cool reports. We can do reports for all events, or we can do for an individual event. We can say, let's look at the registrations by state and country for the event. It's going to drop down a list here. DMA annual, I think that's one we've been playing around with a little bit. So here's the registrations by state, by country, by functional title, and there's even a weeks out report in here. Other things I talked about, confirmation letters. We'll go over that real quick. Confirmation letter management, you can edit with a merge style, Microsoft Word style, merge style feature. You can make graphics in it. You can make any kind of HTML you want. If I was to come in here and edit the Denver seminar letter, I could come in here and say, let's say dear, and I could put the attendee's name in. This is the drop-down list of all the things inside of IMUS that you can put in here. Maybe see addresses, country, user-defined fields, registration dates, even a little receipt. But I can come in here and say, let's put in the first name. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks, registration team. Of course, you can change the fonts. You can do all that kind of good stuff. Change it to whatever you want. Change the size. Put in graphics. All kinds of good things. Change the colors to red. Whatever you want. Put in information about hotel lobby. Those kind of things. So that's where you edit your letter. You can actually send this letter. The letter will be sent automatically, but you can actually have the system send the letter to people that you registered using the phone or the email. So it does that. Lots of audits and tasks, looking for bad addresses and things that would cause problems and not show the address properly in IMUS. Same thing under dues, donations, customers, a lot of reports under kind of customers. Just some general ones, let's look at all our reports by member type. There's a lot of things that can also affect, for example, people that are linked to companies that don't exist. IMUS will let you do that, but that will cause a problem if you're trying to build a company for something. Records with invalid member types. Record with invalid category. Now, in this database, we don't have anything here. Records with invalid country codes, I think we've got a couple here where the country code is U.S., but that's not valid in our database. So with the store, you get a complete breakdown of all the, you get all these reports that can really help, whether you're using it, whether it affects you in the store or not, to really help clean up your IMUS data and do a lot of quality control in that system. Last one to show here is the administrative home, which is a cool thing that lets you impersonate somebody. So I can come in here and impersonate ID number. Right now I was impersonating 300. I'm going to go impersonate record 333. And when I say go, and I go to the store, I see everything, the prices as they would see it. I see everything's in their shopping cart. And when I view previous orders, I can come in here and say, Bill, I know his ID number. And he says, I need a copy of the receipt. I could simply impersonate Bill. I can come in here, view the previous orders, and I can re-email a receipt to him by specifying his email address. So some really cool features in there to let you do that. I've only touched the surface of the features and things available through the ATS Online Marketplace. At this moment, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to unmute you all, and if you have any kind of questions, please let us know. Any questions or comments?
Oh, yeah. Asking Moodle.
What about Moodle?
Asking about Moodle.
Should raise hand?
Yeah. Or
Moodle, we do have a Moodle. Was there a question about Moodle? We do have a Moodle integration. We have we're on our second client using it. It's pretty new to us. Actually, our third client using our Moodle integration. Same way, you can purchase a piece of content, a LMS, a webinar, a course inside of here, and it will automatically talk to Moodle and write back the credit hours when the person is done. It will write back the credit hours to IMUS to an activity. Other questions? Well, I've been talking for about an hour. Christine, are you still on the line? You might be muted yourself. Okay, I don't think maybe Christine is muted there. Is muted. Basically, folks, we'll be happy to contact you if you have any questions. Please contact us. We can do a more in-depth demo specific to your association needs. Maybe you want to do a deeper dive into event registrations, or into dues, or into a Moodle integration, something like that. We'd be more than happy to do that. We're going to be sending out some follow-up and contact information to everybody that signed up and registered for this seminar. And we really thank you for your time today. And we hope you give serious consideration to implementing the ATS online marketplace in your organization. Basically, it's a folder that gets installed on your IMS application server, and you point to it, and maybe you're going to put it in a subfolder like store, or in the case of somebody like irrigation, I think they made their own website for it. You install it, go through the configuration, set it up, and away you go. I will warn you that one of the things we find that is most challenging for folks is cleaning up their IMS data, or saying, gosh, Randy, we've never used the event resources before, or we've never used the publishing tab. Teach us and train us on how to do that, and we do provide that as a service as well to really help you get started on this. One last call. Any questions? Oh, I see a comment from Gurjit. Thank you, Gurjit, for that comment. Any other comments or questions today? Okay, well, with that, this concludes the presentation. Thanks so much again, everybody. We look forward to talking to you soon about implementing this down the road. Thanks a lot.